Hey guys, looks like we've got a few viewers so far. We're gonna wait for a few more people to chat in the basics of Sketch and kind of getting started. So, if you guys have questions within the Hangout, you should see a tab for Q&A. There should also be a group chat, I believe. So you guys, if anybody wants to test that out, go for it. Go ahead and submit a question so I can check that out. All right. Can anybody hear me? Anybody at all? Yes, no, maybe so. I'm trying to test this out. There you go. All right. Let's see. We've got 6 people. We'll go ahead and get started. Again, if you guys have any questions at all, if you can't hear me, if you can't see what I'm showing, please let me know. All right. Let's see. Cool. All right. We got some questions coming in. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background if you guys weren't here last week, basically to share with you kind of who I am, basically kind of go through Sketch. So Sketch is a new tool, relatively new. It came out a few years ago, and there's been a big shift going from Photoshop and Illustrator and Fireworks over to Sketch. There's a lot of reasons for that, and we'll kind of go through that. Again, anytime you have a question, just submit a question. I'll be checking this out, and I'll answer them as I go along. And yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, so my name is Joey. I am the UX Design Course Director. I'm in charge of developing the UX Design curriculum. So if you guys ever have a problem, contact me directly. My email is joey@bloc.io. One of my sole jobs is making sure that the curriculum is very well maintained and also just very robust for you guys to learn. So if you guys see issues, questions, any of that type of stuff, feel free to reach out. He's willing to listen to you guys and really want to make it as best as possible for everybody. The other side of my job is recruiting, training, and managing our mentors. So the people you guys work directly with one-on-one. All the time, we're looking for great designers, people who have, real world experience and several years under their belt of working with some of the best companies. So that's pretty much who I go after, and I do a lot of recruiting for that. Myself, I'm a mentor. I was the sole mentor for about 6 months when this started, and now I work with students still every day. I'm also in charge of the job prep coaching. So once you complete your apprenticeship, if you guys are interested in learning and prepping and getting placed for jobs, you'll reach out to me to go through sample interviews and stuff like that. I've been in the industry for about 10 years now. I used to work at the Tribune Company in Chicago, where I was a UX lead, working with a number of UI and UX designers. I've worked with a number of companies. High Gear Media was my last gig, where I led design before while working at Tribune. I did a lot of contract work for Lightbank, which is a VC firm in Chicago, as well as Frontier Communications. So that's a little bit about me. Again, if you guys have any questions, issues, any of that type of stuff, please feel free to reach out to me. It's just joey@bloc.io. I'm always willing to talk and listen, and anything I can help you with, feel free to let me know. So, all right, let's get started in what we were here for. You guys, I'm assuming, are interested in Sketch. So Sketch is awesome. Sketch is awesome, strictly because it's flexibility. It's just intuitive. For a designer, you know, we've been using Photoshop for years, and Photoshop, honestly, is still a great tool, and I'm not bashing that by any means because I still use it for a number of things as well as design. But Sketch has made things very, very much streamlined and easier to use. So, as you can see here, right now it just looks like a blank canvas, you know, whereas Photoshop, you set your size and everything's kind of ready to go for you as soon as you open up and start like a new document. Here, you're kind of wondering, okay, what do I do? So what we're actually going to get an interface that's just very simple. If you guys, again, have questions, if I go too fast, yell at me in the questions and tell me to stop. And I'll stop and I'll kind of go through that again. So once you get started, the first thing you have to do is click New. So starting a new document. Here, you can actually go ahead and save where to put it. You can also add tags to it. I'm not going to worry about saving this for now. This has been customized since a little bit different, but basically your tool set, you're going to have insert and a number of items, so vector, various shapes, text, images, artboard, slices. I have actually customized my toolbar. You do that is simply just by, and here you can actually drag and drop things directly into the toolbar that make the most particular case. So if you need something that, you know, various types of things, being able to quickly create symbols, being able to add in style text, all this sorts of things. You can add these anywhere, customize your toolbar to fit workflow. Bones is very simple, and just kind of keep what's current. We've got a number of things. We've also got colors, which brings up your color palette and selector, your fonts as well, which is probably going to run slow. Yep, there it goes. You can see all the various types of typefaces and fonts and so forth. So, as you know, like Photoshop, we have a layers panel, which is typically in the bottom. Our layers panel here is actually in the top left, and all along the left sidebar. To be able to find the things that you're grouping together and finding the structure, building it out. We talked a little bit about Photoshop etiquette last week and talked about how you should, you know, group layers and that sort of thing. So I'm going to go through the same process with Sketch and kind of show you guys how, getting things out, you can actually start like grouping things together. So before we go any further, what I'm actually going to do is insert an artboard. And this way we can go ahead and get started on our page. So if you go to Insert and click Artboard, you're going to see a list of things pop over here on the right side. So we can add in iPhone screens, iPad screens, responsive web designs, paper, icons, all this type of stuff. A lot of this comes out like in the out of the box like automatically as soon as you launch Sketch. This is available. There's a few other things that you can include too. Sketch Toolbox is a secondary app which allows you to include and add various types of things. Will remind myself later to update that. But there's a ton of different plugins strictly for Sketch that can simplify your workflow and actually make it very easy to include things and you know, set styles and all sorts of different things. The ones I've got installed are, lorem ipsum plugin, so I can quickly throw in just random text and also random user. So if I wanted to toss in a user image, I could do that as well. So I've got a number of other ones that are kind of installed elsewhere, but ones here. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to add an artboard, and we're going to select Desktop HD, which is 440 pixels by 1024. If we zoom out is the same command. It's just command minus and command plus, zoom in and out. There's a few different varying shortcuts. Once you get into Photoshop and you start using shortcuts, when you shift over to Sketch, that is the hardest thing to get acquainted with. The interfaces and building things are very the shortcuts are not. And that's really where it kind of comes into where you again and figure out how that works. So, so I'm going to do Command plus and just kind of zoom it in. Up here on the top, you'll see we've got show pixels, hide rulers, show. If I click show layout, it's automatically going to set up, I believe, a 12-column grid for me. This is all based on the artboard that I created. Here also, I can also set my background color. So if I wanted to, say, set it to, let's do F4, 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 and hit that, that's all I have to do. Okay, so the shortcut key to hide is Control, on a Mac, of course, Control L. Not Command L, but Control L. And that will show and hide your layout. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead page. We're going to go ahead, if I double click on the page itself, we can go ahead and say this is going to be our this dashboard. We're going to create a quick dashboard, and let's call this web. So we're going to add a couple of different views. We're also going to add a few pages. So we have a dashboard and add a new page, which again is a blank canvas to add new things. So let's say home page. And hit this, and you'll see that the pages kind of show up, either in a drop-down or you can have them expanded out so you can switch back and forth very quickly. So again, if we wanted to add in a board and say Desktop HD, we have that. We're going to go ahead and add another artboard here, and we're going to do web, we're going to do tablet portrait. So now you can see these artboards are very much like Illustrator, where you can have multiple canvases within your document itself. The cool part with you can have multiple pages with multiple documents and artboards within it too. So here you've got your dashboard page. We can have multiple artboard page, which has multiple artboards as well. So okay, let's start off with this. Is there any questions yet? Anybody stumped? Nothing? Chat real quick. There's no chat. No questions? Okay. All right. What I'm going to do first is you can do, so automatically you can create symbols and styled text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a nav bar that we're going to use across the site. So if I click rectangle, I'm going to go ahead and click right. I'm going to go ahead and click and draw. And as you can see, as you start drawing, it gives you the measurements automatically. Over here on the right side, you actually have the ability to edit those. So we know our page is 1440 pixels, and we're going to say 55. And then we're also going to align it to the top of the page and to the left. So it's here, align top, align left, and it automatically aligns to the page. Our border. So you'll see over here also, as you start selecting elements, there's nothing. So you can change the border radius. So as you see, this becomes rounded corners. You can flip it. You can to 0. You can change your blending mode, which is very much like Photoshop as well. And then you have fills, borders, shadows, inner shadows, Gaussian blurs, so this type of stuff that kind of brings things to life. So let's just change our fill color. Let's go with a blue. So I'm going to set this to blue. I'm going to turn off my guides now. And then you can see we've got our top bar here. This is brought directly into within your page. So if we were to add, another art, basically a page like this, and then all of your elements are underneath within that page itself. So we're just going to call this job. So you guys have worked on, or if you're in the design course, you've worked on at this point, or will be at some point soon. So we're just going to customize some of the text. This is a quick example. I'm going to use Open Sans. Basically, what you do over here is you can select your typeface, your weight, just like anything, just like Photoshop. It just makes it a little bit more, brings everything kind of together. And then size to weight. And change it down. And I'm not going to guarantee this is going to, it's really hard to design a good looking site in an hour. So I apologize. I'm going to try my best to make it not look crappy. Okay, so we've got our logo. We've got our background, our nav bar. So select both of these. You do this basically by holding shift, select both of these again, holding shift and click. And then we're going to use to group. And with that, we're going to call this nav bar. If we wanted to, we could go direct down here. Or we could go ahead and create symbol. Your content over here to name this. So it's rename nav bar. So we're just going to. And now what we can do, if we jump over to this page, we can go ahead and insert symbol, and that symbol is called nav bar. So you can reuse elements easily throughout Sketch document. Anything that you can actually makes it easy. The other part with that too is you can look at your various symbols. You can organize them. You can create layer styles, text styles, all that type of stuff. So, and you'll also see here that any symbols are denoted by a purple folder versus a blue folder, which is just the basic group. So, all right, so here we've got our basic dashboard, we've got our nav bar, we've created our first symbol that we can reuse on the site. Now, basically we're gonna do a few things. So if I wanted to, let's say, create a left sidebar, I'm just gonna draw a box real quick. We're gonna columns, this border to nothing, and then we're going to change the background color to, there we go. You can see here we've kind of got a simple dashboard. We'll adjust the size, let's set it to 200 pixels, and we'll keep the height as is. Just like Photoshop, if you start rearranging items, you can drop this below and it automatically hides itself. So even if we were to drag this all the way to the top, it's basically going to stay the same. The other side to that too is if we move this, the logo itself in the nav bar, it should actually reflect that change. Let's go here. Should reflect that change on the home page. Yes, it did. So anytime you change a symbol, it's automatically linked to all the other symbols that have been created. So if I were to add things within this symbol, it becomes a part of it. That's going to be reflected back on every single place that that resides. So we're going to go ahead and call this left nav, have our basic nav bar. If we go in here, let's go ahead and create a user profile. We'll set that at 35 pixels. In order to align things together, so let's say we want this centered top to bottom in here. We're going to select first. What we have to do is drop this all into our nav bar. From there, we're going to click both of these and hit center. Vertical. Align. And okay, so another key trick to sketch as well. So if you click on something that's grouped together, you're going to get the whole element itself. In order to specific piece, you have to double click, and then you can actually shift things over and that sort of thing. That becomes a little bit tricky, so make sure that you actually select the layer that you want to change. This is not, yeah, it actually does show up. Okay, cool, perfect. So our symbols are working, which is fantastic. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to change this to white. If we zoom in here real quick, I'm going to do a few. Zoomed in too much. Say that we want to add like a drop shadow to this. In Photoshop, you get this clone set a bunch of things. The way the sketch works is you're able to actually design it like you would CSS. So if you guys are familiar with CSS, you're basically going to have the ability to add shadows and things like that directly like you would in CSS. So here we can go ahead and change our color. Right now it's black, 50%. We're going to change that to 20. So again, RGBA, perfect. We can also change blur, so or the values, X and Y values, and then also the blur. So if we wanted to set this to 1, and then change this to 0 or 2 or 3 or whatever, this gives it just a nice. Now you can see it makes it very simple to be able to do this stuff. The other side with this too is there's some really cool things that you can actually pull in the CSS. So there's a few plugins for Photoshop, and Photoshop's got this out of the box too. It's again still kind of clunky, but with Sketch you can actually copy the CSS attributes. So if we were to, you can see if this is called oval 1, so we could actually rename it and it would give us a name. Gives us our background, it gives us our box shadow, and both. Let me actually turn this to black so you guys can see it. And then it gives you the values that you need for shadows as well. All right, do we have any questions yet? Nope. Okay. All right, so if you wanted to create a shared style, you can do that as well. So let's say that we want to copy this here. So what we're going to do is create a new shared style. We're just going to call this shadow box. So now, if we wanted to create a new shape, let's say we'll have this here. We'll change this to white. Take the border off, and if we want to add in that shadow box, we can actually reuse that, as you see here. So it gives us the same attributes across all of these things. This is very much similar to holding Option and like dragging your styles that you've created into the into different layers in Photoshop. So you have the ability to replicate those things and make it very simple. And being able to click and drag and maneuver these things, you also have the type things in to make it very simple. To replicate, you simply hit copy paste, and it automatically pastes on top of your current layer. And that way you can just adjust. The same thing works just like Photoshop, where if you hold Shift and click over to the right, left, top, down, whatever. So do that again. Drag, hold and Shift, set it to the edge, and then click that over. There we go. Now we can actually resize this just a little bit. There we go. All right. So this is like the basic structure of the page. We've got a left-hand nav. We've got a ton of things here. I'm gonna take a stab at creating a terrible icon. So you guys bear with me. It's not going to be gorgeous, but this way you can see the subtract, union, and all that type of stuff. Just like your Pathfinder tools in Illustrator, where you're merging shapes together, you're creating new things. So there's a couple of ways to do that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a home icon. And like I said, it's probably not going to be nice. I'm going to draw a square. I don't like how far that radius is, so using the tab sidebar to the right, I'm going to go ahead and change that to 2 instead of 7. I'm going to maneuver this around. What I'm going to do, actually, let's see. I want to make sure of something. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we've got a now. I'm going to add in a triangle. And I'm going to go ahead and change this to, let's see, no border. And then I'm going to align these two together. So if I select both of them together, hit that center align horizontally, it's going to do that. Now you can see I've got shapes. And all you have to do is hit union, and it becomes one single shape. Just like Illustrator makes life very easy. If I wanted to subtract a shape within it, I have the ability to do that too. So I'm going to go ahead and box. Let's do square. We're just going to put a front door here. Let's give it some shape. And now we're going to do subtract. And now you can see the great part about this is even though you use these things, it's still so and shapes. So if you need to actually adjust these, you can without the entire thing. So you can this way, or you have the ability to go in and customize and make particular things move around within that particular icon or shape, which is pretty nice. So again, that's a terrifying, a great example, but it kind of shows you how those tools work. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. Let's see. I'm trying to think. So let's see. There's a lot that you can do with Sketch. What are some questions you guys have as far as like currently using Photoshop and wanting to make the switch to Sketch? What are some things you guys are looking to do? What are some things that you're confused about, need help with, that sort of thing? I'm going to give it a pause because I think there's a short delay. All right. Just asking questions so far. So I'm going to keep on going and just kind of show you a few other things. So the other part with Sketch, it makes it incredibly easy and very, very simple to be able to export assets. So various types of things from your icons, your logos. So technically, I'm going to do something here real quick. I would not recommend it because, of course, as you start coding, you're going to want to actually keep buttons in code versus like it's basically like with a button, you want to use CSS, of course. So the one thing here is I'm going to show you how to export something real quick. But don't actually do this. Use it for icons and that sort of thing. Change the border. We're going to change this to this. We're going to go text. Clicking T we'll actually add text to it. So you can say, this is a button. I'm going to center line this. I'm going to go to white. And that is a bug. Change my background. If I group this and call this a button, you'll see this little panel over here that's called Make Exportable. If I click on this, and you have the ability to export things at 1x, 2x, 3x, you can set the size. You can change it from JPEGs, TIFFs, EPSs, and even SVG, which is fantastic for creating icons. So, okay, it looks like we do have a question. So the question, I use Sketch for the Jotly app and had a not so great experience exporting a PNG as a nice crisp image. Okay, so that is a good question. It really depends on how large the image is that you have. The other side to that is that if you're exporting like a very large image, what I would recommend is saving it as a JPEG. If it doesn't have like a background, if it's not a transparent image, of course, if it's like a big plain image. So this is where I think Photoshop is still a portion of your actual workflow. I mean, it's very much made strictly for photo editing. So I think the big thing for that is that it's very helpful if Photoshop is part of your workflow to be able to export things in the proper size and that sort of thing. So one of the tips I could give, let's see. So if we were to insert an image, let's see. All right, real quick. So if we were to do this, even export this, if we exported it to X, it's still going to be way too big, and it's not going to look that good. So export page big. So it actually doesn't look that, and you can see the size is set to 2268 by 1428. So and our other one is 1392 by 880. So it comes in a little fuzzy, but it actually doesn't look all that bad. So what I would still recommend is that if you're having issues with a particular image itself, take it into Photoshop. You can copy from Sketch and paste and be able to edit that image, export it. Yeah, it's hard to tell you exactly without seeing the actual PNG that you're trying, but you may try a few different things. So that's one of the sole reasons why a lot of people have talked about, oh, I've switched exclusively to Sketch. I think it's hard to say, yeah, I've switched exclusively to Sketch strictly because there's still so many things that you can do in Photoshop much better than you can in Sketch. Photo editing is one of them. So that would be my answer. So. All right. Any other questions at this point? Okay. All right. Keep looking out for this just to see and see what we can do. One of the things with symbols that you create is actually exclude them from the actual value itself. So if we wanted to change this to, say, Paygrave, which is another one of our projects, now if we go to dashboard, we still have Jotly here, but here we have Paygrave. So basically, if you click this exclude text value from symbol, it's going to allow you to change it. I believe if we still move the position, it's going to move it regardless. So for that, it's basically just going to change the value itself. Okay, so what I'm going to do is include a photo here. So if I insert an image, I'm going to show you guys a few things with like Bloc stuff, because that's one thing you actually still can do within Sketch that you would do like in Photoshop as well. So we go here, I'm going to go down to Jotly folder. Got a ton of Jotly folders, as you guys can see. Page, book, images. All right, so ton of stuff. As you see, I'm not very organized with my files. All right, Jotly page. I've got. All right, so here we go. We've got our header image. So if I bring in the header image itself, I'm going to go ahead and center that into the page. I'll go ahead and drop that up there. I'm going to drop this behind the nav bar by clicking and dragging. Now you can create a mask, that way you can actually blur. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a shape. And I'm going to set this shape to 1440. And let's actually go to 600. Yeah, there we go. We'll center this one. In order to create a mask, just like Photoshop, you're going to drag your rectangle behind your image, select both of these, and hit mask. So I'm going to do that again because that was pretty quick. Another thing with this left sidebar is you'll hover over and you'll see this little eyeball. If you click that, it basically will hide the particular layer that's there currently. Okay, so to create a mask, put the image on top of the box or the shape. Click here, and then simply just hold Shift, click both of them, and then hit mask, and it automatically masks it out. A mask will be a bullet character in front of the image that's being masked, and then of course you have this. So at this point, we can actually do blur. And let me take off this so you can actually see. So if we change this to 0, you'll notice that the image looks fine. If we change it to, then you see it becomes blurred a lot more. We're just going to set this to 10. And with that, what we're going to do is increase the size to 7. Center, center. There we go. So that shows you how to create like a blur and that sort of thing. So if you wanted to type some text, Jotly is a collaboration software tool. And we can center the text itself, change the size of it. The text box it's kind of tricky to do. Typically everything comes in one line and then you have the ability to change it. If you actually hit T and you draw a text box, just like Photoshop, instead of just clicking, you have the ability to create an area, a text area that you can actually edit. So I'm going to type in some random text here, change this, change this to regular so we can actually see it, and that sort of thing. And then with that, as you click this, you can see that you can actually edit the box. It actually comes a little bit different, but that's how text works. All right, so what I'm going to do is just kind of customize this a little bit, see what we can within the next 15 minutes. Again, please let me know. I'm all ears. I'm ready to hear what you guys have to think about, say. Okay, so again, with slicing, if you want to create an exported asset, here you'll notice this little slice over to the left on top of the folder. If I click export button, it's going to give me we're going to save it to our desktop. If I go there, let's go back to our Finder, and then you can see this is a button. So that's how simple it is to export things. I'll point you guys in the right way. So Sketch App Resources is probably one of the greatest things in the world. If you guys have questions about how to build particular things, or if you guys want to look at like things that have already been built, that you have the ability to download free resources, tools that you can use, not only to learn, but also just to use. I mean, they have icons that you can download to be able to include in your designs, various types of different things. Font Awesome is something that's very prevalent in design. So you can actually download the font itself, or the icon set itself, and be able to use it. So, simply we can go ahead and download this. Get the sketch file now. I'm just going to go ahead and open this, and then I'll show you basically a simple way to include these designs. So if I were to open this in Sketch, let's see if it actually works. There we go. Okay, so we can actually zoom left. Again, any of these icons. So you have the ability to use it. You can see they created symbols for all of these, which is great. So let's say, and I think it's actually in alphabetical order. Let's say we want a crop icon. I can go over here. I can paste this in. Let's go ahead and set it up here. That's a little too large for my taste, so I'm going to click the symbol in the middle of the size. This keeps your proportions like equal for what size you change it to. So if I want to say 24, and then from there, by opening this folder, selecting the shape, I have the ability to go ahead and change the color. Another thing, which is really nice too. So just like creating color palettes and that sort of thing, if you create, use again and again and again, you have the ability to do that. So let's say that we want this to actually be like a very set gray. Set our color and simply hit this plus sign, and this creates a new color. And then you can also drag. Actually, you can't. But this is actually, never mind. This is actually your most common colors in the document, so you're actually able to see, these are the things that you're going to use constantly. So like your primary colors and that sort of thing. You can actually right-click and hit remove if you want to remove particular colors within here. We can also give this a linear gradient, a radial gradient, various types of things, pattern overlays, like texture overlays, that sort of thing. So it's very intuitive, very, very robust, to be honest with you. There's quite a bit to do with this. So again, flipping back and forth from one document to the next, if you use tilde, the little symbol next to the one, you'll have the ability to flip back and forth very quickly. And again, just to copy and paste, Command C and V. And you can see here we've got our little Android guy. Let's set this guy again to 18. Open this up so there's shapes, and then change the fill color to white. All right, so I'm going to take a break here, and I want you guys to ask questions if you have them. There's actually a few other sites that I can mention too. Sketchtips.info. This is a good one to be able to actually. There's a lot of things here. So Q&A, various types of things. If you don't know, and I'm assuming most of you guys do know, Bohemian Coding is one who created Sketch 3. As a student, 50% discount. So with the Mac App Store for 99 bucks, but as a student of Bloc, you have the ability to actually purchase this for an educational license. So if you educational, you can put in your name, your email, proof of ID. All you need to do is take a screen Bloc interface, whether it's like the checkpoints that you have, your email that you got when you first signed up and enrolled, that type of stuff. They should send you a to purchase it for 50 bucks instead of 100. And with that too, if you have any issues, please email me. .io. I've been in close communication with all these guys. They know that our Bloc students, we want you guys to take advantage of that 50% off coupon to be able to get it for half price, which is awesome. All right. Let me see. So, any other questions? Check various things. I think it's trying to load. There we go. Okay. It looks like nobody has any questions at this point. Let me see what I can find within this. There's a few different things. So let's say that you guys wanted to create a Spotify clone. Oh, that's right. One of the things you'll have to know, if you download Sketch 3, you can create things there, but they also have a beta version. Beta, it very much like a lot of software. If you build something in a beta version that's above what is currently there, you won't be able to revert back to the old version. So, so one of the things I'll show you. Go. Let's see if we go. All right. Here's the question. I'm gonna go ahead and select this. So let's see. Is there a good way version? Like if I'm trying to print a different version, the best way to create multiple pages. So strictly, within Photoshop, you have like layer comps where you that out. Typically, what I do is I'll actually I'll duplicate the layer because it's so very confusing file to begin with. So basically, I would create this, duplicate it, and then let's say that we wanted to change this icon, and let's rotate it. Granted, that doesn't make sense as like a play button because a play button's not backwards, but let's say that you wanted to do it that way. To be able to like try things. The other part with that too, you can create again multiple pages. Like here, I've got a symbols page which comes automatically with as you create like iPhone apps and designs for that. So you can create like various symbols to be able to input and output within your design itself. So there's a number of things that you can try. I'm going to go ahead and delete the layers. So, all right, so I've got one question from outside. William asks, no question on Sketch, but is Google doing anything new with Chrome? I'm not sure. Not too sure. Actually, not sure at all. Let me think about that. I'll find out for you. Okay, so this is actually something that you guys will have access to. Working and creating a simple Spotify clone within Sketch. So there's going to be a video series you can do to basically kind of play around with things. You can see this background image is a mask. It's a same photo as this. It's just exploded, and it's got a Gaussian blur on it of 100 pixels. So that way you can actually see, that exists. And it's on top of a black background. Changing the opacity, you can adjust that as well, and that sort of thing. The other part with Sketch you also want to do is make sure that your files make sense. Again, putting them together and putting things in order so you can actually understand it quickly and have the ability to export things incredibly fast too. You can also export multiple layers at once. So here we have like play skip buttons. If we select this and we hold Command, we can click Make Exportable. We're going to change these and do Export Layers. I'm just going to do X6 like that. Over here, exports now you can see is SVG. We've got that. The triangle and these things don't show up, of course, because they're white on white. So, but they are SVG files that you're able to use in order to create something. All right. I'm going to do a last call for questions since we're almost at our time. Here soon, you guys are going to have access to a couple of videos within Sketch to be able to kind of dive into this a little bit deeper. Also build out things and that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of aspects of Sketch that's really interesting. There's a little icon up here called Mirror. If you download the Mirror app on your phone, you're able actually to view your designs directly on your phone. So if you have a responsive website or if you have this app, you can basically share it and see it on your phone live as you're actually working on it. Tweak things, resize text and that sort of thing, just to make sure it's all very nice and elegant. So. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing. If you guys have any other questions, feel free, again, paste them in here real quick. I'm going to give you about 2 more minutes. If not, reach out to me. Shoot me an email, joey@bloc.io. I'm always willing to help. We can hop on a Google Hangout personally and kind of go over things if you get hung up on a particular item. Or if you're just wanting to explore it more, take some of your time and I'll show you a few other things that we're doing. And I can help you out with a few things. So. And I know there's a slight delay, so I'm not going to leave yet. I will in a second. All right. Call it a night. Like I said, feel free to reach out to me again, joey@bloc.io. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm here to help. All right. You guys all have a great night. Take care. And I will talk to you guys soon.